Welcome back to SANPoint Institute Belagavi. So I think by now you should be ready for RWS AEE exam. So you should be studying, and even we have conducted 2 mock exam recently. So I think you all have taken the benefit of a mock exam provided by SANPoint. So the main purpose of making today's video is students are joining SANPoint classes for upcoming PWD AEE as well as WRD AEE courses and all. So ನೀವು ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಏನಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಟೈಪ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಐತನ, ಸೊ ಹೌ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಟುಡೇ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ I am taking one of the subject of this PWD AEE syllabus, that is tunnel engineering. So our tunnel engineering syllabus olaga, like from every chapter how the questions can be formulated ಅನ್ನೋದು I will be discussing. Because ನಿಮಗೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು 2-3 ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ನ ಈ ಟೈಪ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ ಫಾರ್ ಅದರ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್, ಇಸಂಟ್ ಇಟ್? ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವೇನು ಹೇಳಕತ್ತೀರಿ, ನಾವು ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ನಾವು MCQ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಹಾಕೋತ ಬಂದೆವು, ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟಿವ್ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ whenever you are preparing, okay, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ನೀವು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಓದ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ, ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್, ಈಗ ನೀವು ಬ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಓದ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಸೊ ಯು ರೈಟ್ ದ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಲಿ. ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಫಾರ್ MCQ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟಿವ್ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಓದಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ರಿಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಸೇಮ್, ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ ರಿಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಸೇಮ್, ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್. ಈಗ ನೀವು MCQ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಇತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ you will be practicing more questions of MCQ pattern, but when it is descriptive you will be practicing more with respect to descriptive. But now I am talking with respect to preparation point of view, I am not talking with respect to the tests point of view. So adanna you make it very clear. ಅದರ ಸಂಬಂಧ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡೀನಿ, ಈಗ ಟನಲ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಿಮಗೆ ನಾನು ಈಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಟನಲ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಅಪ್ಕಮಿಂಗ್ PWD ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಐ ಆಮ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸಿಂಗ್. And whatever I am discussing in tunnel engineering today, so you cannot expect any question apart from what I am discussing today in any of the descriptive exam. Even if you consider like IES mains, or even if you consider our PWD AEE exam alla, so na each and every point consider ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು questions formulate ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು I am discussing tunnel engineering. And one more thing I want to make it clear that I am not explaining the subject in detail now. Like you should study that subject because that will take time. So like the main purpose of today's video is to make you understand how you can formulate the descriptive pattern of the questions for the chapter or for the concept or for the subject which you are studying. Okay, and also I will be explaining in detail that if for example, okay, if it is MCQ pattern, so adrolaga evaluator role ಅಷ್ಟು ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡನ್, ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಇನ್ ದ OMR ರೀಡರ್. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಎರರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏನೂ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ದ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟಿವ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಯುವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್, ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್, ಫಾರ್ಮುಲೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್, ಗ್ರಾಮೆಟಿಕಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಇನ್ ಡೆಪ್ತ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಯುವರ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಟರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟಿವ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋರ್. So how you can attract the evaluator with your handwriting? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಟೈಪ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಟೈಪ್ ನೀವು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಾಕ್ತೇನೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಸಿ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, isn't it? So whether you study for 10 hours per day, whether you study whole night, whole day, that is secondary. But end of the day, whether you are selected or not, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ. So for that what you have to do ಅನ್ನೋದು I am explaining. Because adana I want to repeat the same thing again. There is no any different preparation strategy, it remains the same. So concentrate on all the civil engineering technical subjects of KPSC or PWD syllabus. ಏನು ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅಷ್ಟು ಓದ್ರಿ, ನೀಟಾಗಿ ರೆಡಿ ಇರ್ರಿ, and obviously once the notification happens, definitely we will be conducting the descriptive pattern of mock exam also. Don't worry, SANPoint is there for everything for all the government exams in Karnataka. Okay, so ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ RWS AEE ಕೋರ್ಸು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, 2 ಮಾಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮು ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಸೇಮ್ ವೇ ಫಾರ್ RWS AE we conducted mock exam, we provided the course. So same way for PWD WRD we provided the course we provided interview guidance, each and everything. So till the last moment, I am there to handhold you. I am there to support you. So your work is just to sit and study. That's it. Okay. So that is the reason you watch today's video till end, so that you can implement the same strategy for other subjects as well without any confusion. And our entire course for PWD AEE is ready. But the mock exam, as I mentioned, we will be conducting that once the notification happens, because we have to evaluate your papers manually. It is not like MCQ pattern. So now what I am suggesting you start preparing, make the notes, keep everything ready, and if you prepare for this PWD AEE syllabus, simultaneously you will be ready for WRD AE also, because there also the standard KPSC syllabus will be there. So nothing will go waste. Again I am telling you, you prepare ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ready ಇಟ್ರಂದ್ರ, if PWD AEE exam happens first, then you can practice descriptive method of the tests, or if WRD AE exam happens first, then you can practice MCQ pattern. So ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ at least somewhere around 1 to 2 months ನಿಮಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. So hence if you start studying now, then you can save that time, because here we are talking about AEE. So directly like JEE, AE, AEE, it will take lot of time to go to AEE, but here you are directly posted to AEE. So and also I have heard that like the vacancies will be more for PWD AEE. Again, that will be clear only once the notification happens. All right. So here, because once you are writing the descriptive paper, here you have to give like importance on the like flowchart kind of, table kind of, diagram kind of. So all that I am explaining with respect to tunnel engineering. So now, before actually understanding tunnel engineering, again I will be explaining little more syllabus of PWD AEE. Anyways, I had discussed in this very much in detail. So before this, I suggest you to watch this particular video, so that the things will be very, very clear, and then understand the further part of this video. Alright, so let's start. So let's rush through it. Idinen bha detailing nododu bada, because in previous video I had explained very much in detail. So directly now let's see the paper pattern. Okay, so 4 different papers irtavu. So paper 1 will be English, so it will be for 100 marks and it will be for 1.5 hours. Okay, and this will be descriptive, remember that. And the second paper will be Kannada paper, again 100 marks, 1.5 hour, again it will be descriptive. And these 2 papers are just for qualifying nature. Okay, so even if you score out of out, this will not be considered for the final selection. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಎವ್ರಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ 30% ಆಫ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬರಲೇಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ 30 ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಬರಲೇಬೇಕು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ದ ಪ್ರಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ಡ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ ಇಸ್ 35%. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ 2 ಪೇಪರ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆದವು. ನಾವು ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸಿ ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪೇಪರ್, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಆಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪೇಪರ್ 1 ಅಂತ ಏನಿರ್ತಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸದ್ದು, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ GS ಆರ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಸ್ಟಡೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಜನರಲ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಅಂತನ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ 100 marks. And it is for 1.5 hour, and this will be obviously MCQ pattern. Okay, and now coming to the technical paper, so where we will be studying in detail now, and there are 4 papers in this. Okay, so main annod 4 rati. So in the last 4th olaga again there are 4 papers. So that is part A, part B, part C, part D atirate, athwa part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Okay, so idrolaga enaithe andra, now let's talk about first paper here. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ ನಾನು 4 papers ಇರ್ತಾವು. ಆ 4 papers ಒಳಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ 3 ರಿಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಸೇಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ರೀಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಈಚ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಈಸ್ 100. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಇದು 4 ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು ನಮ್ಮದು 400 marks ಪೇಪರು. GS ಈಸ್ ಫಾರ್ 100. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ದ ವೇಟೇಜ್ ಫಾರ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಮೋರ್. ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ಆನ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಪೇಪರ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಪ್ರತಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ 3 hours. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಈ ಪೇಪರ್ 1 ಒಳಗ ಅಥವಾ 2, 3, 4 ಒಳಗ ಈಚ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ 3 parts ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ 3 questions ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಲಿ. ಟೋಟಲ್ ಈಚ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ 9 questions ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಲ್ ದ 3 parts. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ 1. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಪೇಪರ್ 1 ಒಳಗೆ 3 parts ಇರ್ತಾವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಯಾರ ಅವರು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಎ, ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಬಿ, ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಸಿ. ಸೊ ಅಗೇನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಪೇಪರ್ 2. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಎ, ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಬಿ, ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಸಿ. So again in paper 3, part A, part B, then part C. So again in paper 4, part A, part B, part C. So na ಏನು previous video ಮಾಡಿನಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದ್ರೊಳಗೆ syllabus detail ಆಗಿ explain ಮಾಡೀನಿ. So I won't be explaining the detailed syllabus again. So you watch that video compulsorily before watching this particular video. Okay, so ಇಲ್ಲೇ 3 parts ಅಂತೂ clear ಆಯ್ತು. And 3 questions from every part ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಾರು. So now you can see ಈ question ಒಳಗೆ, ಈ part ಒಳಗೆ 3 questions, ಈ part ಒಳಗೆ 3 questions, and this part ಒಳಗೆ 3 questions. So you can see here all together there will be 9 questions, isn't it? 3 plus 3 plus 3. So 9 questions of the question paper irdati for paper 1. Now let's refer further. So ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ you should choose minimum 1 question from each part and answer. So ಇಲ್ಲೇ let me change the color now. So ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಎ ಒಳಗ, ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್, ದೆನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಸಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ 3 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿಲಿ ಎವ್ರಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ 2 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಾರ್ 100 marks ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಸ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ 20 marks. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲೇ 3 into 20 ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ದೇನಾಯ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲೇ 60 marks ರೆಡಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲೇ 2 into 20 40 marks ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏನಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ 2 questions you can choose either from part A or part B or part C. So hope it is clear. Let me explain here. So totally out of 9 questions, you need to answer 5 questions where every question is asked for 20 marks, hence 100 mark paper. So idrolaga part A ಒಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್, part B ಒಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್, part C ಒಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಸೊ 60 marks ಅಂತೂ ನೀವು ಈ ಟೈಪ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ 40 marks. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ 40 marks ಒಳಗೆ 2 questions ಒಳಗೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಚೂಸ್ ಐದರ್ part A, part B or part C. Okay, so and one more condition they have mentioned here, like it can be either single question or group of questions. You can see ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವರು, ಸೊ ಐದರ್ 20 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ದು ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ನು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ 5 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ದು ಒಂದು, 15 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ದು ಒಂದು, ದೆನ್ 20 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ದು ಒಂದು, ಅಥವಾ 10 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ದು ಒಂದು. ಸೊ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಓಕೆ, so now the things are clear. So what does that mean? So you should be prepared for the entire syllabus whatever is given here. So altogether 19 subjects are there, technical subjects, only like irrigation and environment studies. Only these 2 subjects are not there with respect to standard KPSC syllabus. Remaining all the subjects are there. So you have to study. So same way here you can understand. So part paper 2 ಒಳಗುನು like part A, part B, part C ಇರ್ತೈತಿ. So 3 questions they will be given in each part. So one question you need to answer and you can choose any of the 2 questions from any of part A, part B, part C. Okay, so again paper 3 ಅನ್ನೋದು separate time ಒಳಗೆ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ and paper 4 ಒಳಗೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು separate time ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ. So that's what I want to tell you again. So this technical will be for 400 and general studies will be for 100. So it is 4 times more. So you have to be very, very strong technically, and don't worry about this Kannada and English. So we are already providing the Kannada syllabus. So this is ready with us and English will be ready within 1 month. So you can choose SANPoint for English, Kannada as well as for technical. Okay. So now let's see how the question can be framed from the very first chapter of the tunnel engineering. So you can expect the question something like this, that is define tunnel, what are the various advantages of a tunnel, and explain briefly the basis of classification of the tunnels. So you can expect questions like this. So based on the marks, like if it is asked for 5 marks or 10 marks or 15 marks or 20 marks. So based on that you need to elaborate and then answer the question accordingly. So ಈಗ by chance if they ask you only for 5 marks, then you can expect question something like this, that is define tunnel and what are the various advantages of tunnel. So in this how you will be writing, so we need to answer it like in detail. Okay, like don't just write point wise, write in the form of the passage or the paragraph. So first you need to write what exactly the meaning of the term tunnel is. So it is an underground passage used for transportation. So in this we can transport either freights, that is goods, or passengers, or even we can use for transportation of water, sewage, gas, etc. So gas ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಆಯಿಲ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, and the ground surface is not disturbed in this tunnel. So you know that if this is the hill, so we construct a tunnel inside the hill. So in this, the ground surface is not disturbed. So this is one of the characteristic of the tunnel. Okay, so you can see here, I have written here as point wise. Okay, like underground passage used for transportation. So instead of this, in your descriptive paper, you should write as a tunnel is an underground passage used for transportation of freight, passengers, water, sewage, gas, etc. And when we construct the tunnel here, the surface will not get disturbed. So like this, you need to write elaborately. And also what you can do is just draw a small diagram of tunnel also. And if you know any of the important like general studies concept, like you can say like GK. So this country is having the longest tunnel, something like this. So you can add 1 or 2 points of that based on how much time you will be having. So now when they have asked you about the advantages of the tunnel, so you will be writing the detailed advantages of the tunnel. And again, I am telling you, write elaborately. So here I have written very much point wise. So this is the reason, like when you make the notes or when you understand or watch our classes, right? So this subject I have only taught. So even you understand Marco Munda, you should be prepared mentally. Like if they ask MCQ question from this particular para, then how you will be answering that MCQ, and if they ask descriptive, then how you will be answering descriptive. So ಓದಬೇಕಾತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಲೇನ ಓದ್ಕೋತ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಆನ್ ಬೋತ್ MCQ pattern as well as descriptive pattern. Okay, so advantages ankolle some 3-4 advantages you need to write. And now when they ask you about the classification, so there are 4 broad classification of the tunnel, where they are classified based on the alignment, where 4 different types are there, and they are classified based on the purpose, that is usage. So here there are 2 types, and here they are classified based on the type of the materials met during construction. So here again there are 3 classifications, that is the tunneling in hard rock or in soft rock or in water bearing strata. And the 4th classification here is based on the shape of the tunnel, which is very common. So D shape, circular shape, horseshoe shape, rectangular shape, egg shaped. So ಇದನ್ನ ಅವ್ರು 10 marks ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಂದ್ರೆ all 3 of them, then you need to write this one advantage. And classification, if you write only this much what is shown in front of you, this is more than sufficient. But if they have asked for 15 marks or 20 marks, then you need to write about all of them in detail. Andre offspur andrena, saddle andrena, slope andrena, spiral andrena, conveyance andrena, traffic andrena. So all of them you need to write detail here. Okay, so here again I have written in point wise. You should write very much in descriptive. And also they can ask you like what are the different shapes of the tunnel. So the question can be framed based on only on the shape of the tunnel also. So here you need to write the salient features of that particular shape, as well as you need to draw circular under circular draw madre, like this circular shape of the tunnel. Here horseshoe shape, something like this. Then rectangular shape, something like this. So draw the diagram. Okay, because diagram plays very major role, and obviously you will gain marks in the diagram in this. And egg shaped like tunnel is something like this. So draw all of them. So this is how you need to answer the question for this one. And one more question can be framed something like this, that is what are the various steps involved in tunnel surveying. So you can see these are all the various steps involved in the tunnel surveying, and explain the procedure of transferring central line into the tunnel with the help of the diagram. Okay, so here I am not teaching this particular subject to you now, because this will take a lot of time. And if you have attended my classes, definitely you should be knowing all these things. Or else even if you are studying on your own, see to it that all these points are covered in your syllabus, okay, or in your notes. So this is the method of transferring of the central line of the tunnel. So you can see here again we place, you can say dumpy level here or theodolite. Here we place, and if we want to transfer the gradient, then we place here level, and then we measure the gradient or we transfer the gradient. So you need to draw this diagram and explain the procedure in detail. Next question can be like, what are the various problems faced during tunnel construction and how they can be solved. So these are the various problems faced during the tunnel construction, and for those individual problems what are the solutions ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೀನಿ. So now you can see two questions can be framed from this very first chapter of tunnel engineering. Okay, so here I have combined three questions together. Okay, so again I am telling you, like, there is no hard and fast rule that three questions can be framed. So these number of three questions or four questions, that depends on for what marks they are asking in the exam. So this is about your first chapter. So now let's see how the questions can be framed from the second chapter. So the first question I have written here, explain the various soil classifications in tunneling. So you can see the soil classification is broadly in terms of soft soil as well as hard soil or rock, which you can see here. So again, in soft soils, these are all the various classifications, and in rocks, these are all the various classifications. So in detail, if you write, definitely you can get 15 marks from this. So ಇಷ್ಟ ಐತ್ರಿ 15 marks ಹೆಂಗತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ don't have that doubt in your mind. Just write very much elaborate. Definitely you will get 15 marks from this. Next question you can frame something like this. That is, list the various methods of tunneling in soft soil and explain all of them in detail with the help of diagram. Okay, so even you can take the experience of SSC JE also. So diagram plays very major role. So here the first part of the question is list the various methods of tunneling. So you can see here, these are all like 4 to 5 methods are the different methods of tunneling in the soft soil. Okay, so these are all the 5 methods. So now you need to mention them, draw the diagram, and then explain the procedure. So even adavalla, 4 pulling method, needle beam method, army or case method. So if you haven't studied this subject, definitely all these words feel like alien to you. Okay, so very new anastheti. But if you have studied, these are all like very much important part of the syllabus. Okay, so there are 6 different methods. So definitely you need to draw the diagram and then explain them briefly. Okay, so like when you are drawing the diagram, see to it that, okay, you need not use different color pens and all, because that will consume lot of time. I am talking in terms of like a final exam. But when you are making notes, you draw them very neatly with the help of different pen, so that you will not forget any of the part and all, and naming the parts in the diagram is very important. Okay, so even if they don't mention, like explain with the help of diagram at mention madela, only like if they have said list the various methods of tunneling in soft soil and explain briefly. So only till here the question is asked, then you will be answering that question based on for what marks they have asked. So if they have asked only for 5 marks, then what you can do is just list all the methods and just explain 1 or 2 sentences for each one of them. So 1 mark for each one of them, definitely you will get 5 out of 5. But if they ask you like for around 10 marks, 15 marks, 20 marks, then definitely whatever the diagram I had shown you, so you need to draw all these diagrams and then explain. Okay, so this is about second chapter. So next question we can frame something like this. That is, what are the advanced methods of tunneling in soft soil? The first one here is like linear plate method. Second one is shield tunneling, and third one is plenum process or compressed air method. So ivenadavalla you need to draw and explain them in detail. So here I haven't framed question, like I haven't written sideways. So by now, like, you should have understood that how the questions can be framed. Okay, so now next is like tunneling in rocks. So these two are very important chapters of tunneling. That is tunneling in rocks, that is tunneling in soft soil, as well as tunneling in rocks. So what are the various phases of operations at kelbodu? So see here, you need to mention both the methods, draw the diagram, and explain very much in detail. So idardella ನೀವು explanation ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it will be at least half of page of your long sheet book. Okay, so that much explanation is there. So you need to explain them in detail. And if they ask you the question like what are the different methods of tunneling in hard rock, so these 4 different methods are of the methods of tunneling in the hard rock. So whatever these 4 methods are there, so you need to draw the diagram, explain them very much in detail. Okay, so you can just pause and you can write down. So that will consume lot of time atanda nanu idnella odakatilla. So now they can ask you like, okay, what exactly the meaning of the term mucking is. So mucking is the removal of the earth. So ಈಗ ನಾವು ಟನಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲೇ ಏನು ಬ್ರೋಕನ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಉಳಿದಿರತ್ತಲ್ಲ, so that is called as muck, and removal of that muck is called as mucking. So these are all the methods. So you can see here 3 different methods. So draw the diagram and explain them in detail. Okay, so 3 to 4 methods. And next chapter here is like what is shaft and what is the importance of the shaft and how the shafts are provided, or which are the different methods of provision of the shafts during the tunnel construction. So e type kelbodu. So this subject is very small actually. And next chapter here is like tunnel lining. Okay, so you can expect the question like what define tunnel lining and what is the importance of tunnel lining. So you can see here necessity. So this is the importance of the tunnel lining. And if they ask you what are the different methods of lining, so the first material used here is brick, second one is stone, next one is cement concrete, and next one is timber. So you need to explain them in detail. And also like how the thickness of the lining is calculated. So even if they ask you like what are the different materials used, so ಇಷ್ಟ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಾಂದ್ ಅನಿಸ್ತಿತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ you can even write this para also. There is no harm because some of the concepts will be there, and I'm giving you this as the general tip for any of the subject. So ಒಂದೊಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಇರ್ತಾವಂದ್ರೆ you cannot write them more than 5 to 6 sentences. But if that is asked for 10 marks, then what you will write? So ಆ ಟೈಮ್ದಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ whatever topic comes next to it, so try covering few topics and mention that. Okay, because if you write just 5 to 6 statements for 10 marks, so there are high chances that you will not get a 10 out of 10. So either near and dear new concepts mention madidruno, that is well and good. And the last chapter here is tunnel ventilation, dust prevention and lighting. So like they can ask you question like explain in detail about tunnel ventilation, dust prevention and lighting. So e type question kelidrandra you will be in a very good position. Yakandra see like if it is asked for 15 marks, so that means like 5 marks very much in detail you can answer. So you can explain this tunnel ventilation very properly, like what is tunnel ventilation and what is the purpose of tunnel ventilation and how the tunnel ventilation is provided. Okay, so in detail you can answer like this. And the next part of the question is like dust prevention. So why the dust prevention is important during the tunnel construction and how it can be prevented, or what are the different methods of dust prevention. And next is like what is tunnel lighting and what is the importance of lighting and what are the different types of the lights used, where they are provided, each and how the safety can be achieved, here health hazard can be saved. So all this in detail you can write. Okay, so again I am telling you like if you have studied this particular subject, then only you will be able to answer all the kind of the questions whatever I have explained today. Yes, so hope you understood what I tried explaining in this particular video. So follow the similar strategy for other subjects as well. And no doubt I will be taking 2 or 3 subjects more also, and I will be explaining. But that will take some time because I am very much involved in teaching as well as updating your PWD AEE course. So that will take some time. That's the reason I explained this subject very much in detail. Maybe next week I will choose one of the other subjects of your PWD AEE syllabus, and again I will be explaining in detail like how the descriptive questions can be framed from that particular subject. Okay, so saying this, all the very best, and anyways the entire course of PWD AEE is ready for you. So you need not refer any of the textbooks and all. You just trust SANPoint course. We have provided each and everything whatever is being mentioned in the syllabus. Okay, so saying this, all the very best for your AEE journey.